Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Lego Dungeons and Dragons, and I want to talk about the most astonishing thing that has been produced from the Lego Dungeons and Dragons Red Dragon's Tales set so far. Okay, so this set comes out, right? And I won't bury the lead. What is that? It's the Cinderhowl rules. It's the one page presentation. It's the presentation of 750 pages. The DMG, the Monster Manual, and the PHB in one page. It is the arrival, in my humble opinion, fully of the Dungeons and Dragons light rules. Here we go. All right. So with Lego Dungeons and Dragons Red Dragon's Tale set, Lego set, we got the Lego Dungeons and Dragons Red Dragon's Tales Adventure. Now it's about 25 pages long. It's an entire adventure. And it says in the adventure, you can play this adventure with the Dungeons and Dragons rules. They mean the DMG, the PHB, and the Monster. Or you can play it without the rules. Go to page X, right near the back. I think it's page 21, right? So, and I'm just going to say 21. It might be a different page. So, on page 21 of the Lego Dungeons and Dragons Red Dragon's Tale, there is one page that tells you how to play Dungeons and Dragons without rules, okay? According to what Hasbro is saying and according to what Lego is saying, okay? So, here's the kicker, right? On that page, it tells you exactly how to do, it tells you a new way to do initiative. You go by, basically, here's the order of, the rogue, the cleric, the fighter, the wizard. This is the order they go in, and then all the bad guys go. That's a new initiative system, okay? Then it says each person takes their turn and does what they're going to do, and the dungeon master adjudicates, right? And I want you to be real clear. A lot of people are talking about this page, right? And well, they should. I'm glad that people are recognizing this is very important, right? They're like, at no point on the page does it mention dice. And some people have said, oh, this doesn't, it's not the D&D rules because it doesn't have dice. That's absolutely not correct. There is fate, the fate is there. It's not fate rocks, it's a coin. What's a coin? It's a D2. The dice are there. The moment they introduce the coin, there's a way to introduce randomness into, so player says what they want to do. Then they roll. That's the flip of the coin, and then the DM adjudicates, right? So this does have a dice. It is a dice system. It's a D2 dice system. Period. Right? It tells you exactly how to apply damage, right? And it also even deals with how to do spells, how to do combat, and how to do social interaction, and how to explore. It 100% is rules, right? Like, it's literally rules written by Dungeons and Dragons and written by Lego, and then placed in the adventure. Wait a second, Scott. Do rules appear in adventures? 100%. Are you kidding? Like, did you even read Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen? The Fray. Like, there's all kinds of new rules presented. There have been new rules presented in virtually every single adventure that's ever been produced. The only one I think didn't do it was Radiant Journeys to the Radiant Citadel, right? It's incredible. So the issue is, Dungeons and Dragons wrote rules. They rewrote the entire Dungeons and Dragons rule set on one page, right? Then they published those rules with Lego. And then they said, these aren't rules. They're absolutely rules. Just like, you can't write rules, publish rules, and distribute them exactly the way you distributed every other piece of D&D canon rule, and then say those aren't rules. They're 100% rules in my humble opinion, right? So what's really happened is we didn't expect this. No one expected this. No one expected that the Lego Dungeons and Dragons Red Dragon's Tale set would provide all of Dungeons and Dragons rules on one page. And so what we really have, in my humble opinion, are the new Dungeons and Dragons rules. Now, it doesn't negate the old rules, but these are the new rules. They're absolutely D&D rules. And I defy you to tell me one single thing that makes them not rules. Nothing. They're written the same way, they're distributed the same way, they're established as canon in exactly the same way. In my humble opinion, these are 100% the new Dungeons & Dragons rules, right? And I think that's fantastic because it makes Dungeons & Dragons massively more accessible, right? In fact, I could have sworn, like, I was getting hopeless that we would ever have a Dungeons & Dragons rule set that was not accessible to somebody like me who has 2 degrees. I have a master's degree, right? I have my very kind mother put all of them on one piece. My sheepskin sang on the wall, right? I graduated high school, right? Like, I graduated with a bachelor's degree. I graduated with a master's degree, right? And that's why I'm willing to read. And that's why I've read 20,000 pages of D&D canon, right? But there have been nights where I got up in the middle of the night and go, oh my gosh, only intellectuals are playing Dungeons & Dragons. How do you get Dungeons & Dragons accessible to non-intellectuals? Publish the rules on one page. There you go, done. Lego has delivered the real, right? The transformative, the powerful, the useful rules that we need for the next 50 years. The first 50 years of Dungeons & Dragons was for intellectuals. The second 50 years of Dungeons & Dragons is for everyone. And the gate that delivered it to everyone was Lego, all right? Now, this is so important, right, that we're going to need to talk about these rules in the future. So I'm going to define, as a member of the Dungeons & Dragons community, I'm going to propose the name of these rules. These are the Cinderhowl rules. Cinderhowl is the gigantic adult red dragon that is in the Lego Dungeons & Dragons Red Dragon's Tale set and in the adventure, right? So I believe that the best name for these are the Cinderhowl rules. The Cinderhowl rules, right? So the Cinderhowl rules are now the rule set that allow anyone and everyone to play Dungeons & Dragons. You want to know something wild? It's free! Why is it free? Because Gary's legacy is always honored by Hasbro, right? Gary was super kind, super tolerant, and wanted to make a better world. How do you make a better world? You take 750 pages of Dungeons & Dragons rules and you give them away on one page, right? That is super dope. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion, not a thing more and not a thing less. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider liking and subscribing and have a fetch millennium.